They've been portrayed as heroes, gentlemen, patriots, and dastardly supervillains.
Nixon's back!
But what are they really capable of? Welcome to WatchMojo's Top 5 Myths, the series that finds the biggest myths that people actually believe and dispels them one by one. In today's installment, we'll be counting down the 5 myths about being president that had us asking for a recount. For better or worse, we often expect a lot from the President of the United States of America. You can blame the depiction of POTUS in the media, film, television, and in some cases presidential candidates for these larger-than-life projections of power. The sobering thing is, the president is human just like the rest of us. Well, sorta.
God bless you.
Myth number 5. Broken campaign promises are intentionally broken. President Obama made a lot of big promises when he took the office in 2008. His plans for the nation were such a progressive deviation from those of George W. Bush that he was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize. Sadly, his ambitions and sometimes lofty goals put him at odds with not only the Republican Party, but some Democrats as well.
I hear your voices, and I'm aware of your concerns.
So maybe if you can chill the hell out for like a second, then maybe I can focus on some shit, you know?
As the years went by, it became increasingly clear that some of Obama's goals would go unachieved. Voters are quick to call foul when a president fails to follow through on their campaign promises, but for the most part, the press is really trying their best. In practice, they can do very little without the support of Congress, and if an idea is controversial, like closing Guantanamo Bay, the president is facing a long trek up Capitol Hill, with plenty of backsliding.
Yes, well, if they're pissed now, wait until I'm elected president.
Myth number 4. The president can simply roll back the work of their predecessor. You see, the White House isn't Walmart. You can't send a happy face bouncing around the building to roll a nation back. The baseline left by any administration contains some structurally weak policies and others that are essentially ironclad. Any regulation issued in the last 8 months of a presidency can be subjected to a congressional review, but it's not a guaranteed repeal.
I was elected to lead, not to read.
A president can issue new regulations that undermine a past one, but this can be a lengthy process, and numerous high-priority regulations have been rejected by courts under administrations past.
And I'll put beer in the water fountains and cameras in the girls' locker room.
Congress can also pass new laws to replace old ones, but that requires a strong filibuster-proof Senate majority. As president, it's best to pick your battles. Almost anything can be undone, but it requires a serious time investment, time that could be spent building rather than tearing down.
Do you know who I am? I'm the President of the United States.
Oh, Mr. President.
Shut up.
Myth number 3. Article 2 empowers the president to unilaterally initiate war.
The president's going to go to war with Albania in about 30 minutes.
Article 2, Section 2 of the US Constitution reads, "The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States." That, in the mind of many Americans, including a number of presidents, makes the president all-powerful when it comes to military matters. Article 1, Section 8, however, states clearly that Congress is the only governing body with the power to declare war. The president was never meant to make this life or death situation alone, and for years they respected that law. President Truman was the first to circumvent Congress by invoking Article 2, Section 2 to justify illegally starting war, and subsequent presidents have followed suit ever since. Vietnam actually prompted Congress to create the War Powers Act in an attempt to rein these presidential wars, but it was to little effect. Myth number 2. The US president is the leader of the free world. Damn Cold War. This period of extreme tension between the Western and Eastern Bloc never resulted in an all-out war, but the ideological battle was certainly colossal. From the US perspective, it was democratic freedom fighting against the communist dictatorships. As the most powerful democratic nation, the United States and its leaders adopted the de facto role of global defender of democracy and freedom, or leader of the free world.
I'm the leader of the free world.
But America has increasingly been criticized for its military action abroad in recent years. Nowadays, outside of patriotic American cinema, the term is only used sarcastically.
My husband is the leader of the free world.
In 2015, Time magazine named German Chancellor Angela Merkel Person of the Year and Chancellor of the Free World. Other publications such as The Guardian and The New York Times have written similar pieces declaring Merkel the real leader of the free world in wake of Trump's election. Myth number 1. The president is all-powerful. There is no denying the unique role the president plays in government. But while we often project superhero-like powers onto them, in practice their position comes with more great responsibility than great power. They serve as a lightning rod for their administration, being personally blamed or credited for all their successes or failures, even if they had little say in the matter. Yes, they can sign executive orders, but Congress can block those.
Take him into custody, General.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
You can't do no.
The president can veto congressional legislation, but Congress can override that veto. In the words of President William Howard Taft, the president cannot make clouds to rain and cannot make the corn to grow.
You're on, Skinny!
The president might ride around in Air Force One and hold nuclear codes, but when push comes to political shove, making America great is a team effort.
And we will make America great again.
So which of these myths did you believe? For more elected top 10s and Senate-approved top 5s, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Acting President Decker, under better circumstances, perhaps I'd like the sound of that.